Hello, this podcast is for CNT140. We're talking BidSpec again. This time we're looking at our closet equipment. So I'm going to go to our content page here, BidSpec project, go to the notes page. I'm going to scroll down and I should see a new area for us on our equipment closet. We had done cable support last week. We're looking at equipment closet now. So I'm going to go open the notes page here. I have a couple links I'm going to use a little bit later, but I'm going to open the notes page. And let's just kind of scroll down through and talk about what we need to do this week. The beginning reminds us where we are, site survey, picking our closets, starting the estimation on our spreadsheet for cabling, adding the horizontal cabling to the cost sheet, the new tab, starting our maps, showing our horizontal cabling, adding to our cost sheet the work area outlet, boxes, faceplates, those kinds of things, adding our patch panels to our cost sheet, adding a new tab for the patch panel layouts, adding the backbone links, our fiber links to our cost sheet, and on our map, updating our map with, backbone, that sort of thing. Adding to our cost sheet the cable support trays, brackets, that kind of stuff, and then again updating our maps to show the cable trays. So that's where we should be at this point. The next thing we need to add is the equipment for the closet. Now, here, after we talk closets this week in class, this is roughly the gear we need. As we look down through, we need a distribution rack to house all the gear. Something that looks like this, that would house all the patch panels, and again, in real life, switches, UPSs, routers, that kind of thing, but all of our gear. So we need a distribution rack. We need our patch panels. We should already have that, but we need our patch panels in our closet. We also need a wire management panel. That's this guy here, that's going to kind of hold all the cabling so it doesn't become a spaghetti mess like some of the pictures we looked at this week. We need something like that, and the thing there is we roughly need 2 per patch panel, because there'll be one under the patch panel and then there'll be one under the switch that it connects to, if you will. In real life, we would have our switches, routers, UPSs, servers, those kinds of things in there. We are not ordering them for this project. We're not going to order those for this project, but in real life, those would need to be there. We need our patch cables for our closet. We have a patch cable on the user end, out where the computer is. We also need a patch cable in the closet, so we would need those. And I put a reminder here, we're going to need at least a tray per closet. So cabling coming from the hallway has support till it gets to the rack that would be most likely installed in the middle of the closet, middle of the floor of the closet. That way you have access to it, the whole way around. So there's roughly the stuff we need. And I have some notes here on quantities of things. It's really not much that we have to worry about, but there's our list of stuff. We'll need to go to one of our suppliers and order the gear. So we need to go to a place like, again, I'm trying to aim you guys towards suppliers that probably have what we're looking for. So I'll pick on Cable Organizer. Again, the only reason I am is this is a pretty good supplier. I have most of the stuff we're looking for. And in here I would look for my rack. And here I go to the racks. I can go to an open frame rack. And in real life I have some decisions, whether I need a small one on the wall for a small closet or a large one. Well, we're going to do large ones in our building. We have a rather large port count. The next decision would be, do I need a 4-post or a 2-post? 4 if I'm dealing with servers and large switches. If I'm dealing with a rack mount server, I would definitely need a 4-post. If not, I could deal with just a basic 2-post. And I think when I spec this out, I just picked a basic 2-post. You see a whole bunch of options here. A basic 2-post rack for our plan. So I'll pick on maybe this guy here. That'll work for today. AAA 2-post open frame rack. The next thing we encounter is the size, and as we discussed in class, the U is each U is basically the size of an ordinary 24-port switch. That would be 1 U, and a typical rack that we'd have in a closet is 45 U. So if I pick that guy, or if I scroll down here and look at the specs, here is a open frame 2-post 45U. It tells you it's 7 foot high. That's giving you an idea that that's typically what we have in a closet. So here could be a 2-post open frame rack for our closet. Well, what I need to do is open my Google Drive, in here, open my folder that has in my cost sheet, spreadsheet, all that jazz. And actually I'll open that guy up. I'll open up my version 2 spreadsheet. There he is. And I would start adding my gear to it. I'd open my cost tab, and just like we've done previously, open my cost tab and come in here and start adding. Here's my patch panels from previously. I would now add in my rack. Below that I would add my wire management, and then I would actually copy some of my cable tray gear up here and finish out the closet equipment. So we've done that before. I'm not going to show you all those details again because you've done that. Go back to the notes page. Make sure you have all these pieces for your closet, those quantities. Use a place like Cable Organizer to look up the gear. Copy paste this over to your spreadsheet. Add them in and you're good to go. That would be your closet equipment. All right. So there's the equipment that we need to add this week to our plan. Now, we're not done. I'm going to keep scrolling. And here's, I get your price source reminder, a good place to go. And then here's roughly my spreadsheet filled in with all my gear. Okay. There's one more thing we need to do for this. So let me close some tabs up here now. There's one more thing we need to do. I want you to do a rack drawing of your equipment closet. And a couple reasons we do this. One is we need to do some planning to make sure everything is going to fit. We don't need to go to 2 racks. Number 2 is we need to start some of our documentation we need for our building. And then 3, this is giving a drawing that, if I'm the IT boss, if you will, I could hand this to one of my technicians and they know how to install my rack. So I actually need to do a rack drawing to show how I'm going to lay out all my equipment. Well, to get you started, I have some samples from previous semesters that people have done, students have done, to give an idea of the kind of thing we're looking for. I put in all kinds of different samples so you can get an idea. Okay, so you kind of use these as one of a guide. Here's one I did in Dia some time ago, and here's one I did in Draw.io. Well, here's the cool part. We have some tools out there, some free tools that will help us do that. One of the first ones is if you've used Dia in 120 to do your network design project or 125 to do your network design project, you can continue to use Dia for your rack drawing. Okay, a reminder, I'm going to go to the Dia site here real quick. I would download Dia for my system, and it is available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. Okay, download that. I will need one more thing. Down here under the bottom, there's a link to it, and I even have a link on the on our notes page here. I need to get the Dia shapes. I would need to download the Dia shapes. This is another little executable. Download this, and what this is going to allow me to do is add extra sheets of icons. I need that because one of my sheets of icons is the racks that I would need. So do that, install that, close out Dia, open it back up. When you do, when you open Dia now, so let me open my Dia, I have it down here already launched. Actually, let me just do it this way. Here we go. What I'm going to look for now is under my sheets of icons, there is now a racks option that's available to me that I get. Here is that's a half rack. Here's a 42 rack. Here's a rack that I can now use to start putting my gear in. Now, Dia is kind of generic, so what you'll need to do is grab something like a 2U unit here, drag it over, and, resize it so it fits the rack kind of thing. What I normally do is get it in here and get it about right and say, okay, that's about right. And then I copy paste this multiple times for the other things that's going to go in here. Throw yourself a label in it. I'll put a little label in here that says something like 48 port patch panel. Slide this over, and I might even just do this. I might grab these two. Let's make everything a little bit larger. There we go. Let's do that. It'll take just a little finagling to get it set up. So here we go. Now we're getting it. I'll put my label in there. And now I'll take my patch panel. I will highlight the patch panel. I will do a shift click and highlight the text label. And I'll go to objects and I'll group them. And now as I'll do a Control C, Control V. I'll paste this a couple times for the couple patch panels that I need. And then I'll need to do the same thing for my wire management panel. So I'll grab another 2U, put it in here, get it sized up, and I'll label it wire management panel or something of that nature. So there's my patch panels, there's my wire management. I'll repeat that. I'll want to add in a power strip to kind of show, let's see which one we got here. Let's just do this guy, that should probably be good. I'll put a power strip in here to show this is where I'm going to power it all, just like we have kind of in our racks. Okay, so I will add in my gear to kind of show what I need in my closet, and when I'm all done, I'll do a file save. It's going to save it as a .dia file. I think most of you are used to that. I'm going to go to, I'll just go to the desktop for now, and I'll do my 140 rack kind of thing. Okay, there you go. But when I'm all done, I will need to do a file export, and I will need to export this as a PNG or a JPEG. So I will turn right around and do a PNG. Now I have, let me minimize. Here is my rack drawing as a PNG. Now I have it as a graphic that I can submit to D2L for easy submission. Okay, so if I'm going to use Dia for my rack drawing, that's how I do it. Let me bring everything back up again. But I have one more option for you that you can use if you wish. I have something here called draw.io. If you launch this guy, it's actually going to launch an app, if you will, that's kind of like a Google Draw, and you'll notice that it actually links up with your Google Drive. So I can create a new diagram. I can give it a title. Maybe I'll do a 140 rack. And I can actually have this save to my Google Drive. And in here there's an option to pick my Google Drive. I'll go to my 140 folder. Okay, you'll need to plug in your Google Drive login and all that jazz, but I'll plug it in here and say what I'm going to do. There's no documents in here already, that's nice. 140 rack kind of thing. Oh, here we go. Here's my 140. And then I can say select. And I should be good to go. There we go. That's the one I want. Then I should be good to go. Then I can create. I'm not going to do it from any kind of template or anything. What I am going to do is I do need to search for the specific icons. And let me remember, I think it's under servers or controllers. I think it might be under controllers. No. Let me pause a second to find our icon. Alright, I remembered. Right after I paused, I remembered. You actually need to go into like a more shapes here. And when you scroll down, you have to pick the option in here for like rack, so that you can actually see rack drawings. Say apply. And then in here, you get the option. You got to keep looking in here. I forget where it's listed. Rack, Cisco, Rack Dell, Rack General. You now actually get rack drawings that you can grab and use. Okay, so in here I can have a blade switch and all that kind of good stuff. I think under Rack General they have just the rack itself, numbered rack, rack cabinet. So now I can use these. Here's a server. Okay, now I can use these to build my drawing. Here's Rack APC, Rack Cisco, Rack Dell, Rack Oracle, Rack IBM. Okay. Anyway, I can grab one of these guys. Let's do, I think up here we had a general one. That's a half at this point, but you get the idea. Now I can start grabbing my components. Here's a horizontal routing blank, horizontal cable duct. I can grab him in, slide him in here, and start getting this positioned. And this is now saving it right to my Google Drive. So continue this. When I'm all done, I think there's an option here to file export as, you can do a PDF or an image, and this will also create an image in my drive. Again, I'll do my Google Drive. And if I go to my Google Drive, I should see, and here's my 140, here's my 140 rack HTML, and then I also should have in here my rack drawing, the JPEG. It might have just downloaded it for me. But there's roughly how to use both Dia and Draw.io.